Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown WWE main event and your 205 Live results for the week of July 24th, 2020. Birthdays for this week: July 24th, Angelo Dawkins turned 30 years old, while Tucker of Heavy Machinery also turned 30. WWE ring announcer Greg Hamilton turned 41. Hall of Famer Tori Wilson turned 45. July 25th, birthdays. Also, belated birthday for my mom. July 25th, Finn Balor. He was born in 1981. July 26th, birthdays. Pitbull number 2, 1967. Roger Shaw, 1983. Marty Scurll, 1988. Tessa Blanchard, 1995. Legendary TV host, actor, and singer Regis Philbin passed away at the age of 88 on Friday, according to TMZ. Although nothing confirmed by his family, a source told TMZ that he suffered a heart attack at his home in Manhattan, New York. We are deeply saddened to share that our beloved Regis Philbin passed away last night at the of natural causes, 1 month shy of his 89th birthday. The family said in a statement to People, his family and friends are forever grateful for the time we got to spend with him, for his warmth, his legendary sense of humor, and his singular ability to make every day into something worth talking about. We thank his fans and admirers for their incredible support over his 60-year career and ask for privacy as we mourn his loss. So they did acknowledge the death. And my condolences go to his family as well. I lost my mom 3 years ago. March, I think it was March. Starting his career in 1995, Philbin hosted numerous shows, including Live with Regis and Kathie Lee, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and Live with Regis and Shelley. Philbin interviewed wrestlers such as Classy Very Relaxing, The Rock, John Cena, Sergeant Slaughter, and the Iron Sheik. So there's his Hall of Fame in the celebrity wing. And this link here is Liv Morgan talking about how her favorite horror film is Child's Play. Angel Garza shared that his grandmother has passed away recently. And also Garza posted on social media at this link of his grandparents and his cousin, WWE star Roberto Carrillo, with the caption, "Grandma, I love you and I'll miss you forever." Lozano, a sports TV host from Mexico, took to Instagram on Thursday and revealed the wedding pictures of Garza and his wife. And this link, just married. I just married. Yes. For life. I love you. She wrote in an Instagram message that the two are related. And if you know Spanish, you can translate it. She added in another translated post, "I will spoil you from our photos today." Lozano is no stranger to WWE Universe. She appeared on April 13th Raw episode earlier in the year as a ringside photographer who received a kiss and a rose from Garza during his entrance from the singles win over Tehuti Miles. But he continues to give roses to announcers backstage. Producers did not acknowledge who she was. Lozano also appeared on WWE NXT back in December. That's when Garza proposed to her in the middle of the ring, following his NXT Cruiserweight title win over Lio Rush. Lozano said that she, yes, during the in-ring proposal, and later had her bachelorette party in March. It's a post from the wedding, along with posts on the March 15th bachelorette party, plus shots from April's Raw appearance and the NXT proposal from December. WWE has announced that Drake Maverick will make his return to 205 Live on the show. Stay tuned for your results. Maverick previously served as general manager of 205 Live, but now he's returning to the brand as an active competitor and a member of the WWE NXT roster. No word yet on who he will be wrestling, but stay tuned. WWE also announced a 6-man match for tonight's 205 Live show. Tehuti Miles and Ever-Rise will team up to face Oney Lorcan, Burch and Mansoor. AJ Lee has certainly been keeping busy during her post-WWE career, and there was even a rumor that she may be returning to WWE to keep on the evolution, the revolution for the women's division, partnering up with actress Amy Garcia, perhaps best known for roles in Dexter and Lucifer TV shows, to first co-author a comic book series based on the Netflix series Glow. The series, which also features AEW and Nightmare Collective alumni Awesome Kong, was said to be something both Garcia and Lee were huge fans of prior to the partnership. Now it seems that they have decided to take that business partnership to another step further, based on a recent Instagram post from the former WWE superstar announcing the launch of Scrappy Heart Productions. AJ Mendez, as she is known when not in the ring, was ecstatic to continue working with Amy Garcia. I guess she kept her maiden name, but she's been married for a few years to CM Punk. So proud to share at Amy Garcia for reals, and I have founded at Scrap Heart Productions. The former wrestler stated in a post before explaining their message. We hear you. We see you. We will tell your story. We may use lots of curse words. Although previously, Lee has previously decided about the possibility coming out of retirement. It seems that, at least for the time being, she and Garcia will be a tag team of a different kind. And that very well may include working a schedule that may rival her days on the road in WWE. Hopefully, that leads to similar success and some exciting content to come. A content company, by their own definition, there seems to be a broad focus upon different potential forms of media and work that they will be tackling, including an upcoming project, Eastside Saints. That will be another comic book joint effort between the new partners. More information on what to expect from the dynamic duo and their production company going forward can be found on their website, scrappyheartproductions.com. Rob Terry has a documentary, Generation Iron, Natty for Life. You'd wonder why he never was given an opportunity to speak more in WWE or on Impact Wrestling. I myself didn't know that he was in WWE. The Welsh star is a championship bodybuilder who juggles being a dad and firefighting in Florida these days. It was frustrating. Sometimes you are put in the role as a performer. It can be frustrating, he stated. I just feel like from the day I started, I've grown so much. It would have been a great opportunity for me to really evolve and do something worth more personality-driven writer than be stereotyped as hit this muscle-bound guy. I think about it a lot. Maybe in the future, I'll get a chance to try something out. Terry leaves the door of pro wrestling open for the future. The lifelong fan remains just that. It was such a huge thrill to actually get into the industry growing up in Wales. There was a time difference, but we stayed up till 4 in the morning to watch pay-per-views. He reminisced. It was kind of this religious thing. I would tell friends way back when I was a big dude, then in my early 20s, I would say, this is my dream. This is what I wanted to do. I was used to people laughing in my face. For me to work with WWE and all these guys, I was a big fan. So it was monumental. I will always be a fan. I think it's great. Competition really makes the product step up. Having these different brands really elevate the game of each company. There are a lot of opportunities, a lot of growth. Obviously, with the COVID situation and no crowd that that goes with that is not a good thing right now. All these companies are in a great situation to step up. Following Terry on social media, you see he remains connected to the wrestling world. One of his hangout buddies is NXT's own Robert Stone. None other than his former tag team partner, Robbie E. Robert Strauss. The two were opponents and tag team partners in Impact Wrestling. Terry has found memories of being a bro man. He's the very reason I say bro way too much more in life. I never used to say bro before I met that guy. He stated, it's really cool to stay in touch with those guys. I try to stay connected with what they're doing. It's really good to see them do all well. The hulking 40-year-old knows, much like bodybuilding, there are assumptions made in the world of professional wrestling because of his physique. He is proud to call himself natural. I got my opportunity with WWE in 2006 because I was natural. The company needed natural athletes. He stated they had a wellness policy in place. There are a few tragic events that happened prior to my hiring with the company, which led to that wellness policy to take effect. I was there a perfect candidate. I think a lot of people, when they saw me on TV, they made assumptions that I was enhanced when in reality I was a natural athlete. Rob's full interview can be found in this link on the Wrestling Inc. Daily. Senior editor of Ad Age, Jeanine Poggi, sat down with Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon to talk about how WWE has pivoted during the COVID-19 pandemic. McMahon noted that participating in WWE programming is optional, noting that some talent have chosen to opt out, like Roman Reigns has chosen to do. She also detailed the COVID-19 testing the WWE has done, and can be found in that link. First and foremost, it's all optional. It's voluntary based, McMahon noted. So for all of our performers and our crew, it's up to them if they want to participate. We did have a couple of talent opt out, and a couple of crew members opted out for various personal reasons, and of course, we support that. In addition, we do testing before all the programming, and it is the more advanced testing. It's not the rapid test, which has shown to have a number of false positive or false negatives. Though all the testing is improving, we want to be sure to have the best testing possible because of the health and safety of our crew. Our performance and our employees is paramount. McMahon also talked about the WWE Performance Center undergoes a deep cleaning every night. She also mentioned a spray that WWE uses from Allied Bioscience, as well as a policy of where even someone tested negative for COVID-19, if they have been in contact with someone with COVID-19, then they are not allowed inside the facility. We also have pandemic level cleaning that we have at our performance center every single night, which includes fogging and this special lighting. McMahon added, we also had this application of a product that is from a company called Allied Sciences that creates a barrier between the virus and whatever you're spraying it on. So we sprayed on production trucks. We sprayed basically on our warehouse, our performance center, basically any facility or any location where our talent, employees, and crews are staying. Even now, when you're tested negative, you're negative for the virus. You still have to come in and have a temperature check and fill out a form. And if you've been in contact or whatever the various steps are, you're not allowed into the facility, even if you're tested negative. McMahon stated that WWE has been doing the best that they can and is proud of the measures that they have taken despite multiple people testing positive. I do think we've done the best test that we possibly can, McMahon stated. I think that the testing and protocols have actually proven that they work. Yes, we have had some positive, but the majority of our talent, performers, and crew are very healthy and continuing to be part of our shows. We're proud Of course, we want to be smart. We want to be sensitive. We want to take care of all people. Without them, we won't have a show. We don't have a product. We also want to make sure we entertain our fans all over the world. We're proud of the fact we have been able to do that. But they don't have any type of insurance. So how much do they care about their talent? Due to HIPAA laws, McMahon could not disclose too many details about talent medical proceedings. She did talk about the contact tracing program that WWE implements for their talent and employees. Thus, remember a few weeks back, Renee Young, and she's married to AEW champion Jon Moxley. They were in quarantine together. We have a whole system that is provided by our medical team. The man noted, if you do test positive, that's the contact tracing. There's various levels of that contact tracing. We notify our other performers, employees, or crew in accordance to the guidelines of our medical team. I'll go back to what I was just stating with Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley. He was tested negative, but his wife tested positive as she came down with the virus. During the live broadcast, viewers had an opportunity to ask questions. One person asked whether WWE offered any health or medical insurance to the talent. I just discussed that. McMahon stated all the talent are independent contractors, so they do not provide medical insurance. But she noted that WWE does pay for all surgeries or injury-related costs that happen in the ring. She also talked about the substance abuse program that WWE provides to help current and former WWE talent with drug or alcohol abuse. So our talent are independent contractors, so we actually don't provide medical insurance for our talent. McMahon stated, we pay for all injuries, thus workman's comp. If they don't, they will get a lawsuit. Any surgeries or anything related to all in-ring injuries, we do have substance and abuses protocols that we offer our talent, both current and retired. So anyone that's ever had issues with drug or alcohol abuse, they can be a part of the program. WWE itself, for our employees, we do have health, medical, and overall wellness and mental health. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced many people to work from home. The man talks about how that has changed the way WWE thinks. Thus, Beth Phoenix stays home and does broadcast from her home. But you don't see them on TV during NXT or anything like that. She joked, back to McMahon, she joked that her father, Vince McMahon, was the only one showing up at the office. And she talked about how they can still operate while people work from home, causing the WWE to look at how they operate. It's funny. I think our company has been traditional in some ways in terms of believing you had to be in the room to have the conversation. And I think this has really opened our eyes. McMahon admitted we've had so many of our employees working remotely, except maybe for our chairman and CEO, who was the only person in the office. I think we've absolutely learned so much. We're capable of working remotely. We've recently put out a poll, if you will, to all our employees. How many of you would like to remain working from home? We're having a real-time conversation as to what our business is going to look like, to the point where we actually delayed our move to our new corporate headquarters. We're supposed to continue to move down that process. We're looking at that now and reevaluating opportunities there. And what do we really need? WWE filmed the bar fight ahead of the show at an establishment called Irish Shannon's Pub on Church Street in Orlando, Florida. Must be something new. When I was in Winter Park years ago in a bowling tournament, I never seen that anywhere. I even went down to, the theme park. I got to basically main gate, had to turn around, drop the print off. Disney World, that is. The match saw Sheamus personal bartender get involved and attack Hardy shortly before the finals. Bartender was played by indie wrestler Vinnie McParland, known as Vinnie Mac on the indie scene. He's the same person who appeared on July 3rd SmackDown episode as Sheamus' bartender in the middle of the ring with Jeff Hardy, where Jeff Hardy poured the beer on his face. It was announced during SmackDown that the Money in the Bank briefcase holder Otis will return with Mandy Rose next week. WWE noted that the love story between the two will continue next week. Naomi versus Lacey Evans was also announced for next Friday night. This will be a rematch from last week's quick win for Evans, which led to the hashtag Naomi deserves better hashtag. Evans and Naomi appeared tonight for the Miz TV segment, which got physical to set up next week's match. Main event opening video kicks off the show after usual WWE signature Bianca Belair makes her entrance as MVP and Tom Phillips check on commentary. MVP has the new U.S. Championship with him. Jessie Camille is already in the ring. Belair versus Jessie Camille. They lock up. Belair backs Camille into the corner. They lock up again. Camille backs Belair into the corner. Belair pushes Camille to the mat. Camille goes for a roll up. Belair blocks it and does a back handspring. Belair hits a shoulder block on Camille. Belair eventually hits a scoop slam on Camille and delivers a running splash on Camille and goes for a kip up. Belair runs towards Camille. In the corner, Camille gets out of the way. Camille clotheslines Belair in the corner. Belair lifts Camille up with a waist lock and drops her on the top turnbuckle. Belair hits KOD, finisher on Camille, and pins her for the win. Recap of SmackDown show featuring AJ Styles defeating Matt Riddle to retain the Intercontinental Championship prior to Riddle being attacked by King Corbin. Recap of Raw was shown featuring Kairi Sane defeating women's tag team and SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley in a non-title match. Humberto Carrillo and Riddick Moss make their entrance, and that match is up next. They lock up. Moss back Carrillo in the corner. And remember, Riddick was called up months ago, and this is his almost first match since coming. Carrillo locks in a waist lock. Moss reverses it to a wrist lock. Carrillo takes Moss to the mat with a headlock takeover. Later in the match, Carrillo connects with a spin kick to Moss. Carrillo hits a running standing moonsault on Moss. Carrillo pins Moss for a 2 count. Carrillo ascends to the turnbuckles. Carrillo hits a crossbody from the top. Roll off the top rope on Moss. Moss rolls through and pins Carrillo for a 2 count. Carrillo rolls Moss up for a 1 count. Moss drives the shoulder into Carrillo in the corner. Moss hits a neck breaker on Carrillo. Carrillo pins Moss for the win. Well, the report even messed up. They said, winner of the match, Riddick Moss. But Carrillo pinned Moss for the win. And either one, I believe Moss got the win, but they said Carrillo pinned Moss for the win. But Moss delivered a neckbreaker on Carrillo. Recap of Raw was shown to close the show, featuring Randy Orton defeating the Big Show in the non-sanctioned match. SmackDown opens up with a video package for tonight's bar fight. We get comments from Jeff Hardy and Sheamus talking Raw. Hall of Famer JBL also comments on the fight and says this would be great, a great one, as emotions are running high. Corey Graves, the tattoo champion of the world, Michael Cole hyped the show and the bar fight as we see Sheamus' personal bartender getting ready behind the bar. We're live from the tape delay from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, as Coleslaw and Corey Tattoo Champion welcomes us. He's the WWE NXT Developmental Training cheer on from behind the plexiglass. We go right to the ring for the opening match. Opening segment. Tag team champions Sasha Banks and Bayley. Banks is still in possession of Asuka's Raw Women's title belt. We see how she got the belt during the horror show at Extreme Rules. We also see how Bayley retained over Nikki Cross at Extreme Rules on last Sunday. Banks and Bayley go on about how great they are. They declare that the women's evolution is over. It started with them and is ending with them. They introduced new era the era of Sasha Banks and Bayley. They go on running their mouths and taunt fans at home, saying that they'll never be as good as them. Miz interrupts. Out comes Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Cross is furious. She yells at Banks and Bayley about what they've done and says that their era is already over. Banks and Bayley taunt her. Bliss isn't sure about this because Cross is wild and carrying on. Cross mentions having cracked ribs from Extreme Rules. She goes on and wants a title shot. Now, Bayley jokes around some, calling them sheep. She says she won at Extreme Rules fair and square, but she wants to do what's right. Bayley announces that Cross can have a title shot if she beats a former champion, a future Hall of Famer, Bliss. The winner will earn a title shot on next week's show. Cross and Bliss exchange looks. Cross hesitates and says they've got to do this. She shoves Bliss down on the stage and then marches to the ring as Bliss looks on. Go to commercial. Number 1 contenders match, Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss, tag team partners. Back for the break, Alexa Bliss is in the ring with Nikki Cross. Sasha and Bayley join Coleslaw and Graves on commentary. Back and forth start the match. Bliss and Cross trade holds and keep it friendly early on. They go back and forth on the mat, then break after going back to their feet. The crowd applauds. They go at it again, and Bliss drops Cross with her shoulder first. Bliss charges, but Cross nails a few arm drags. Cross grounds Bliss in the middle ring. Now, as the crowd rallies some, they go into the corner, and Cross blocks a shot, and she's not happy with Bliss trying to take advantage. They tangle in the corner some more, and both avoid DDT attempts. Cross walks Bliss with a big shot. It gets fired up now. Cross runs wild with several takedowns. Cross with a splash and more in the corner. Cross with a running bulldog out of the corner for a 2 count. Banks and Bayley are extremely annoying on commentary. Bliss turns around and sends Cross to the floor. Cross tries Bliss in the apron cover, but it backfires, and Bliss kicks Cross away. Banks and Bayley stand up at the announce table and shout at the competitors like a couple of fools. Cross and Bliss thankfully attack them and knock them down. Back to commercial. Back for the break, Bliss slaps Cross while she's on the apron, holding on. Bliss rocks Cross and sends her back to the floor. Bliss runs and slides, kicking Cross back in front of the announce table where Banks and Bayley are. Bliss brings him back in and unloads on Cross in the corner. Bliss grounds Cross in the middle of the ring. Bliss keeps his toe and works on the hurt rib some. They end up on the floor again, and Bliss rams Cross into the barrier. The referee counts it, and Cross makes it back in. Bliss continues to dominate, but can't put Cross away. Bliss with shoulder to the gut in the corner. Banks and Bayley continue their extremely obnoxious shtick on commentary. Bliss grounds Cross and works on the arm as the crowd rallies. Cross finally mounts some offense for her comeback. Cross knocks Bliss in the corner and unloads. Cross slams Bliss into top turnbuckle several times. Cross goes up for the tornado DDT, but Bliss counters and sends her to the mat. Bliss ends up hitting a big sunset flip powerbomb out of the corner for a 2 count. More back and forth now. Bliss climbs up, but Cross cuts her off. Cross goes for a superplex, but Bliss hangs on. Bliss sends Cross to the mat. Bliss jumps, but has to land on her feet as Cross moves out of the way. Cross comes right back and drops Bliss for another close pin attempt. They trade moves in the middle of the ring. Cross drops Bliss with an inverted neckbreaker. Bliss kicks out of 2. Cross goes to the top for a crossbody, but Bliss moves out of the way. Cross clutches her ribs as the referee checks on her. Bliss also tries to check on her, but the referee backs her off. Bliss approaches again, possibly to check on Cross or to continue the match, but Cross takes advantage and takes her down into a roll-up for the pin to earn the title shot. Winner news number 1 contender, again, Nikki Cross. After the match, Cross recovers and stands tall. We go to replays. Bliss sits up and looks at Cross as the music plays. Banks and Bayley look on and taunt Cross from ringside. Cross versus Bayley is confirmed for next week. Could that match also be a tease for heel turn Bliss? Because remember, they had Bliss pose as Sister Abigail in a segment from the Extreme Rules pay-per-view with Bray Wyatt. Speaking of that, still to come, a new episode of the Firefly Funhouse. Back to commercial. Back to the break. Alexa Bliss backstage with Nikki. A bit awkward, at first, but Bliss says Cross deserves this, and they hug. Bliss says it's time to focus so she can beat Bayley for the title. Cross agrees. We get a look back at the non-title Wyatt swap fight between Bray Wyatt and Universal Champion Braun Strowman from last Sunday at the Extreme Horror Show. As Wyatt is in the Firefly Funhouse now, he joked about Strowman being down in the bottom of the swamp and how it's 100% organic. The Wyatt headliner is sitting on the table and is communicating with him. Kind of looks like what's his face from that's in AEW now, Brody Lee. Wyatt says he can't wait. Let Wyatt out, back out to have another chance at Strowman because it's his chance now. Him being the Fiend, Wyatt says he has been unleashed. We see flashes of the Fiend. Wyatt laughs and waves goodbye. Coleslaw and Graves comment on how the Fiend has been unleashed, and that's bad for Strowman. As he was unleashed before, and look what happened. He lost. Coleslaw and Graves show us how Matt Riddle lost a title shot at to Intercontinental Champion AJ Styles last week. Riddle's in action next. Matt Riddle versus Tony Nese. We go back to ring. Out comes Riddle. Back to commercial. Back to the break. Nese is out. The bell rings and they go at it. Riddle with a few German suplexes early on. More offense. Nese kicks out. Nese comes back. Hits a moonsault. But Riddle hangs on. They tangle and go to the mat. Nese with a body scissors from behind on the mat now. Riddle counters and goes into the bro Derek, but Nese slides out. Riddle takes it to the corner for a running forearm. Riddle tosses Nese for a big exploder suplex. Then a penalty kick to the face. Riddle stays on Nese and goes right into the bro Derek again. And Riddle covers for the fairly easy win. After the match, Riddle stands tall as the music plays. We go to replays. Riddle takes the mic and says he's kind of new here, so he doesn't know how this works, but he's going to give this a try. He calls out King Corbin. Corbin comes out and speaks from the stage, taking shots at Riddle and going on about how he doesn't belong here. He doesn't belong in Corbin's kingdom. Corbin goes on and says Riddle just has that new car smell, and when that wears off, he'll just be like some frat boy with no shoes, who looks like he just rolled out of bed. Corbin says Riddle doesn't belong in a professional environment like SmackDown. He needs to go back to NXT, or maybe he could be a top guy on 205 Live. Corbin is so confident that Riddle doesn't belong here that he's officially putting a king ransom to anyone in the world who could prove Riddle doesn't belong here. Riddle says Corbin has it all wrong. Riddle goes on and says Corbin is the next special guest star for the Bro Show. Riddle drops the mic and turns around to drop Nese with a big kick as he charges. Riddle's music hits as he taunts Corbin from the ring. Miz and Morrison are backstage. They bring up the recent hashtag Naomi There's a Better hashtag and talk to them about creating their own hashtag. Morrison jokes about potential hashtags, but Miz isn't impressed. They hurry off for Miz TV. Back to commercial. Back for the break. It's time for another must-see edition of Miz TV. Miz and Morrison are out to the ring now. They talk about trends, and Miz continue to interrupt and take friendly jabs at Morrison. They go on and introduce tonight's guest, Naomi. Miz and Morrison do some of the worst dancing ever as the music hits. And she's not really impressed. But she's kind of like checking them out and what have you. Does that. Not really impressed. Kind of look. Miz welcomes Naomi and brings up her heartbreaking loss last week. Miz says despite the loss, it was Naomi who trended worldwide on Twitter. Not the winner, Lacey Evans. Naomi goes on about how the fans support her. It's not always easy to come out here with a smile on your face, but she keeps going for the fans. They also bring up how she went viral after returning earlier this year and failing to win the Royal Rumble. They comment on how they trend for various reasons, but she goes viral for losing. There's some tension between them now. Naomi says they're making her sick. Naomi says the topic of conversation should be why the fans support her the way they do, and why Lacey attacked her over karaoke contest. Naomi isn't happy with Miz passing judgment on she and her fans. She goes on about how she's put in work for years now, and that's why her fans support her. Does she need to explain? Miz doesn't expect this interview to be so confrontational. Morrison apologizes because this is about to get much worse. Miz says that they have a surprise guest. Music interrupts and out comes Evans to mostly booze. Naomi is a thrill to see Evans. The boos continue and Evans enters the ring. She greets the host and looks down at Naomi. Evans taunts Naomi for last week's loss and says she's been here for more than a decade with not much to show for it, and is about to be about as washed up as ever. Bless her heart, Evans says. Naomi strikes in the face, and Evans is shocked. They take goes up, and Naomi sends Evans to the floor. Naomi talks trash from the ring as the music plays. Evans looks at how Naomi ruined her makeup, then throws a fit at ringside before storming off. Naomi dances in the ring as Miz and Morrison try to dance beside her. And now we see how Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura became defeated New Day to capture the SmackDown Tag Team titles at Extreme Rules this past Sunday. Big E is backstage pacing around. Kofi Kingston walks out of a trainer's room and says he will be out of action for 6 weeks, maybe more. Kofi is looking forward to spending time with his family. Big E wants Kofi to heal up. They talk about focusing to get the titles back. Kofi says maybe the universe is trying to talk to them. He and Zombie R. Woods are both out now, so maybe it's Big E's time. Kofi goes on and says it's all about Big E now, and him showing the world what he can do. Big E appreciates it, but Kofi tells him he's earned this. He deserves this, and he has a New Day's blessing. They hug and show love to end that segment. Another video of the bar fight, setting up with JBL, hyping it up. For the Fatal 4-Way, number 1 contenders match, Shorty G versus Drew Gulak versus Grand Metalik versus Lince Dorado. For what title? Oh, we go back to the ring and out comes Intercontinental Champion AJ Styles as the Boos pick up. So against the Intercontinental title. AJ joins Coleslaw and Grace on commentary for the number 1 contenders match back in commercial. Back for the right, we have Shorty G, Drew Gulak, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado in the ring. The winner will earn a title shot from Styles, who is on commentary. Metalik rolls Gable up after the bell as Dorado dropkicks Gable. Lucha House Party members hit a double hip toss, and Metalik sends his partner into Gulak. And this is every man for himself. Partners then have a few words before Dorado takes the leg out. Gulak then trips Dorado and sends him out to the floor. Metalik leaps out and hits a big hurricane to send Gulak back down on the floor. Gable with a big jumper suplex, but Metalik lands on his feet. More back and forth. Dorado ends up hitting a big suicide dive to Gulak, sending him against the announce table. Metalik with an insecurity, but Gable counters with a drop kick to counter a springboard. Gable ends up hitting a big moonsault to Gulak and Dorado on the floor. Everyone is down. We got a commercial. Back for the break. G is working on Metalik in the ring. Gulak with an elbow to Metalik. They double team Metalik, but Gulak stops G from pinning. Gulak with a 2 count on G. Metalik breaks that up, and then comes Lince with another pin attempt. Gulak dumps Lince to the floor on his head. G backsides Gulak into a 2 count. Gulak reverses and trade counters on the mat. AJ calls it a rookie move. G with a snap suplex on Gulak for a 2 count. More back and forth. Now, while Dorado is back down on the floor, G and Gulak double team Metalik for a few minutes. Metalik takes them both down with a springboard back elbow. The crowd rallies for Metalik. Dorado comes in and decks Gulak. Then G kicks G to the floor. Dorado with chops and a kick to Gulak. Dorado with a big move off the ropes for a 2 count on Gulak. Dorado goes on and counters a center from Gulak for a 2 count. Metallic broke Dorado's pin up as they argue again. G takes advantage of their arguing and unloads them both. G launches Dorado, hits a cannonball on Glock, and Dorado in the corner. G with an exploder to Glock. G with a big jumper suplex on Metallic for a 2 count as Glock breaks the pin. All 4 competitors are down now. More back and forth. Glock with his Dragon Sleeper on G. G eventually counters and applies an ankle lock in the middle of the ring. Glock screams out as G drops down to tighten the hole. Dorado flies from the top with a big splash, breaking the hole. Dorado holds the splash, but G kicks out of 2. Crowd rallies louder now. Dorado with a high-flying moonsault off the ropes to G. Dorado goes to the top for a 3rd moonsault, but now Glock crotches him. Glock climbs up and they tackle, but Glock gets sent out to the floor. Dorado gets launched across the ring and to the floor, but G is also down. Metallic takes advantage of the chaos and goes to the top. Metallic flies and hits a big elbow drop on G for the pin and becomes your new number 1 contender to your Intercontinental title. After the match, Metallic stands tall as his music plays. We got a replays. AJ enters the ring as Metallic and Dorado are talking on the same page. AJ offers his hand for a shake, but Metallic hesitates. AJ slaps him in the face, sending him back. Dorado stares at AJ. Metallic comes back and slaps AJ in his face. Metallic ends up sending AJ out to the floor. Metallic picks up the title belt and raises it high. Dorado points at Metallic and taunts AJ as the music hits again. AJ looks on from the floor as Metallic and Dorado stand tall in the ring. Metallic versus AJ is confirmed for next week. Video package on the relationship between Mandy Rose and Money in the Bank briefcase holder Otis. Their love story will continue next Friday, as they both will be on SmackDown. Announces hype tonight's bar fight as we get another look at the bar. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Kayla Braxton is in the back with new SmackDown Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura brags on putting Kofi Kingston through a table and hurting him, making him go flat. Perfect English for Nakamura. Cesaro regrets not getting to put Big E through another table and hurting him. They go on and don't believe this is Big E's time. They're not buying what Kofi says. Nakamura comments on how they are going to make the other tag teams on SmackDown goes flat. Now, the champs walk off. A video package of Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus feud. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Cole Hall announces Nikki Cross versus SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. Grand Metallic versus Intercontinental Champion AJ Styles. And Naomi versus Lacey Evans for next week. Bar fight. Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. We go to the bar named Irish Shannon's in Orlando, Florida. Sheamus walks in. His personal bartender is there. As he's not wearing wrestling gear, he's in a tank top, white tank top with suspenders. A bartender is there, as is a referee. Bartender says he hasn't seen Jeff Hardy yet. Jeff walks up and takes a seat. Sheamus asks if he wants a drink to take the edge off. Jeff passes, but asks for a cup. The referee asks if they're ready to do this. Jeff tells him he's only here to make the 3 count. Jeff says his brother Matt Hardy had to delete his WWE career, but tonight Jeff has to recover his. Jeff talks about how sobriety has changed him, so Sheamus better be ready for anything. Sheamus says Jeff will never change. He's weak and pathetic. They have more words, and Sheamus calls Jeff a pathetic junkie. Sheamus gets ready, warning the bartender that Jeff doesn't like bartenders. Jeff starts singing by throwing a beer in Sheamus' face. Sheamus fights, and here we go. Sheamus beats Jeff around and slams him on top of the wooden bar. Sheamus pulls Jeff down the length of the top of the bar, knocking glasses and bottles off. Some of them were empty, some of them were full, but there was nobody else in the bar, so who was drinking them? Sheamus holds Jeff on top of the bar and beats on him with forearms to the chest. You know, like the chin beats on the ring apron. Sheamus is asking for a shot. Something top shelf from the bartender, but Jeff takes advantage and turns it around with a clothesline from the bar. Jeff grabs several basketballs and throws them at Sheamus to stop him from approaching. They're the miniature basketball about this size. You know how like a little shooting game at Chuck E. Cheese's are, or in some places, Showbiz Pizza. Back in the day, well, Sheamus kicks Hardy, but Hardy tries to hit him with a beer keg, but Sheamus blocks it. Jeff beats Sheamus back and forth into the walls of a hallway in the back. Of course, you could definitely tell that this keg was empty, laying in the hallway. Of course, why would it be? Well, why would it be full? It should have been plugged in. Sheamus comes back and uses the keg on Jeff while he's down. Then chokes him with it. Sheamus pounds on Jeff some more, sending him into the walls. They fight to the bathroom now, and Sheamus slams the door on Jeff several times while he's down. Sheamus works Jeff over inside the bathroom now. Sheamus puts Jeff's face into a urinal and flushes it. Jeff is choking now, wet from the toilet. Sheamus puts Hardy's face in the mirror and insults him. Jeff fights back and turns it around again. Sheamus gets knocked back into the stall, flushing the toilet. Jeff retreats out of the bathroom, but Sheamus screams for him and follows. Sheamus walks back out into the bar and stalks Jeff, telling him he can't hide. Jeff grabs a ladder and decks Sheamus with it. Sheamus dominates some more and rams Jeff into the brick wall a few times after catching a crossbody. And by the way, Jeff was hiding in a closet. And what happened? Sheamus swings a guitar at Jeff, but he misses. Hardy keeps fighting back. Sheamus sends Jeff into a set of drums as we go back to commercial. Yeah, there was a small stage where somebody was trying to sing or whatever. Back from the break, Sheamus is telling Jeff to bring it. Jeff is still down at the drums. Jeff heats things up and unloads on Sheamus, dropping him as the bartender looks on. They fight, and Jeff drops Sheamus with a twist of fate. Jeff looks down at Sheamus and then stands the ladder up in front of a large stack of barrels on display. Jeff stomps on Sheamus and drags him over to the ladder. Jeff climbs to the top, but the bartender attacks him. Jeff comes off the ladder and fights back, decking the bartender. Jeff grabs the bartender and powerbombs him through a table. Sheamus takes advantage and hits Jeff from behind. Sheamus grabs the hat that he had on earlier and places it over Jeff's face while he's flat on his back. They go off camera. Sheamus tells Jeff, "Sweet dreams, fella." Sheamus goes back behind the bar and drinks a beer. Raising to toast to Jeff, Sheamus downs the beer, but it feels like something's not right as we have eerie music playing now. Well, Jeff wasn't wearing his face paint. Well, as Sheamus is limping back over and calls the referee to get ready, he removes the hat from Hardy's face. As the odd music continues in the background, Jeff suddenly has a new paint design on his face and a look in his eyes. With a new contact lens, Jeff drops Sheamus and climbs the ladder. Jeff delivers a swanton to the floor of the bar and holds it to cover Sheamus for the pin and the win. After the pin, Jeff stands tall and as his music plays in the background. He stares straight ahead and has that same odd look in his eye, as if he's stepping back to normal now and losing the look from the contact. Very similar to Rey Mysterio, but it looked like it was face paint, like he does with his eyeballs, and what have you, and it actually moved from side to side. Jeff flipped away while Sheamus is laid out on the floor. SmackDown goes off the air at that point. Big Joseph and Drew Glock welcome us to another edition of 205 Live. Former 205 Live General Manager Drake Maverick makes his way to the ring for an opening contest. It was announced that Maverick would be returning to the roster earlier in the day. He'll be taking on Leon Ruff. Drake Maverick versus Leon Ruff. Tie up, Maverick shoulder. which was injured at the hands of the Cruiserweight champion, Santos Escobar. Gives out as he has to reset. Maverick grabs a wrist lock, then brings Ruff down, keeping pressure on the arm. Hammerlock applied. Ruff rocks Maverick with a sharp elbow. Referee asks if Maverick can continue. He says yes. Big standing lariat from Maverick takes Ruff down once again. He follows up with a leg lariat and a charging forearm. Bulldog and senton is succession by Maverick. Maverick dives over Ruff, hitting a sunset bomb into turnbuckles. He climbs up top. Maverick taking his time. Big elbow connects, and that'll do it for the opener. Drake Maverick wins by pinfall. After Maverick looks right into the camera and promises that he will be a future Cruiserweight champion, cut to a commercial for WWE Shop. A video hyping Isaiah's horse scratch for a 205 Live division. He attributes dancing and making music to his love of performing for the WWE Universe, and says that sharing in the ring with the likes of Johnny Gargano has helped him see what it will take to become a future champion. Swerve later calls out Santos Escobar, reminding him that he hasn't been the only one who has defeated him since joining WWE. It's announced that Swerve will team up with Tony Nese on next week's 205 Live. Main event time. Ever-Rise, Chase Parker, and Matt Martell make their way to the ring to their first ring first. Their partner, Tehuti Miles, is out second. They'll be taking on the trio of Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Mansoor. Ever-Rise, Tehuti Miles versus Mansoor, Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan. Mansoor and Parker begin the match. Burch and Lorcan get the fans to chant. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Tie up. Heck, what were they thinking? The 1, 2, 3 kid back in action? Parker goes for the hammerlock and gets it locked in. Mansoor shows off his technique with a drop toe hold. He dodges the charging Parker. Martell tags in, but Mansoor sends him flying with an arm drag. Lorcan tags in. He picks up where Mansoor left off by wearing it down the arm. Burch in now, double chop to Martell's chest. Lorcan, Mansoor, and Burch show their ability to work together by nailing Martell with a tandem offense. Mansoor gets trapped in the heel team corner. Miles tags in, but Mansoor takes him down with a ground and pound. All 6 men get in the ring for a face-off. The heels back off. Lorcan and Miles resume action. Ever-Rise provides a serviceable distraction, allowing Miles to hit a drop kick on Lorcan. Parker comes in, snap bear in the middle rope elbow drop. Ever-Rise with a flash of double team maneuvers. Lorcan kicks out. Parker goes for another top rope attack. Lorcan gets booed up. Burch gets a tag and comes in hot. Huge uppercut and a big boot to Martell. Miles tries to slow Burch down, but he German suplexes him across the ring. Burch does a lariat. Mansoor and Burch go for a double team. Ever-Rise pulls out Burch, and Miles rolls up Mansoor. 2 count, slingshot neckbreaker by Mansoor, sends Miles to ringside. He takes out everyone with a tope. Back in the ring, Mansoor schoolboys Miles for the pin and a win. Lorcan, Burch, and Mansoor celebrate in the center ring. Commentary reminds us that Mansoor has outpinned Miles 3 weeks in a row. And that's the show for 205 Live. And that also concludes my video for this week's SmackDown 205 Live and WWE main event. Thanks and peace out. See you want to be. And by the way, brothers and sisters, if you don't know something, just ask me.